recording as well on the cloud. So guys, welcome to our main event for this week, right? I love this. I'm so super excited to be here, to be able to do this training for everyone here, how to create a successful business strategy driven by your why, right? So it's, we have Sydney and Jermaine Perry here. And their big title for us is Increasing the Dough in the Pie, driven by your big why. And I love that so much because I think that's so powerful because, oftentimes we jump into any business and as time goes on, we forget why we're doing what we're doing, right? And this is such an appropriate time because so many real estate agents at this point in time, they're asking themselves, what happened to January? What happened to February? Not understanding that there's cycles in this business. Yeah. And if you didn't hustle September, October, November, December, like we told you as coaches to hustle, then guess what? You're reaping the benefits in January, February, and March, right? So anybody that's been in the business long enough, they understand how the cycles work. And Jermaine and Sydney, one of the reasons that I'm honored to have you guys on here is because you have the entrepreneurial spirit. And as real estate agents, we are entrepreneurs to the core in terms of us wanting to start a big business and wanting to do it in a way that can be able to take care of our families, can give us the life that we want to have with the flexibility that we're looking for versus anything else. And your story is so, so powerful that I thought, listen, if anybody hears you guys' story, if anybody hears your journey, because I remember going to your shop when you guys first opened it. I remember when you guys were talking about opening up your first shop. Right. And when you were talking about it, and it was a declaration that you made, it was like, and then next thing you know, Sydney, I think I had texted you or I texted Jermaine. I didn't know who it was. I just sent the message on Instagram and I said, guys, I was at the gym and I looked up on the screen and I saw Sydney on the screen. And I said, wait a second, I know that person. I'm sitting there on the treadmill, just doing my thing. And I see Sydney, you're on the television set. And I was like, is she okay? Is this the new? I see you carrying cupcakes and doing all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is this like a dream? And the reality is that Sydney, you got a chance to jump into the Food Network and win the competition. So I'd love for you guys to be able to share a little bit about that. But I'm going to give this to you because this is your show. Bless us with your inspiration. And I'm done talking for now. We'll go ahead and we'll jump into some questions. So go ahead and take it away.
Gotcha. I guess I'll start. So as Rob mentioned, I'm Sydney, this is Jermaine, and together we own Sydney Sweets. We are a custom cake shop located in Long Island, New York. We actually started this business in my mother's kitchen. It was just a hobby, something that I was into. And at the time, I was dating Jermaine and I told him about this thing I was doing. He tried the product out and he said, no, this could be a real business. Like, you should really put some effort into it. And we put a lot of effort into it over several years together. And we worked this business out of our house for 7 years, building up our clientele, getting our process together, like really learning how to operate a bakery, make it successful before we even opened the doors to our brick and mortar location. The store has now been open for 10 years and it's still a lot of work going into it, but we do it together.
Yeah. So I think the important part, Rob, is that story about the 7 years, right? Because I think everyone wants to jump in and see success, overnight, or even in a year, or even in 2. But one of the things when we get to have this conversation and share our story, I'd like to really put a key on is 7 years of building a brand before the brand was even a store that was a real brand. And I really credit our success to those years of gaining loyal customers and followers and people that are, sung our praises before we really got the money from them. We truly owe it to that core base for helping us get over the threshold when we open up our storefront. So really, really critical time. and being able to put in the groundwork when it's not necessarily attached to the results that we want. We all want money, right? That's the result. When we think about business, the result is money. But that result was just a core base that continued to share us and champion for us, so that other people respected it when we came onto the market. Share us and champion for us.
Go for it. Somebody must have had their mic unmuted.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so those 7 years were important. And now, like Sydney said, now we've had the storefront now for 10 years. This year's our 10-year anniversary. So exciting times, especially in this tough brick and mortar market. Having still a storefront, we're blessed to have made it successfully in New York, made it through the pandemic,
Right.
and are still pushing through. Truly a blessing. And this is our family business.
That's awesome,
Yes.
man.
Go ahead, Rob.
So basically, I mean, I think it's key, like you mentioned, so many people, they think that, hey, listen, I want to start a business, and it just magically happens, right? They go in without the preparation, they go in without the tools, they go in without, I mean, listen, there's a number of ways of going into it, but the fact that you guys started it from your mom's house, and the fact that you're doing this together as a family, I think, to me, those are two key things, because in the business of real estate and any business out there, most people, they just want to jump into it, but then they don't realize that the toll that it takes on a relationship. They don't realize the toll that it takes on perseverance. But the one thing that I do admire is that you guys stuck it out, because when you look at the ratings, the average real estate agent and even entrepreneur, most entrepreneurs are out of business within 5 years.
Yeah.
Is that
Right.
right? Within 5 years. And then
Yeah.
most real estate agents are out of business within 6 months.
Mm.
You know,
It's
yeah.
you got to get over the hump. And I think what I've seen, and when I hear success stories, and even when I look at other entrepreneurs who are starting and who don't continue, you have to fight past that struggle point, and that's one thing. And one of the things, and while we're talking about, by being connected to your why has to be bigger than the struggle point, right? So when you're connected to your why, if your why is, financial freedom for my family, or, to spend more time with my family, that why has to be so embedded and ingrained into your work ethic and and how you move. That's why we would love to encourage people to really hone in. If you don't know your why, or if your why is not getting you through, then maybe that why is not really, either the direction you're going is not right, or the why is not really speaking to who you are, and invigorating you to get past. So when you connect to that, and we went through plenty of struggles,
Right.
opening the store, staying through the pandemic, fighting in, and how the business, takes a toll on our relationship as partners and as well as parents, knowing that what we're doing, our why, and that why feeds into our relationship and our parenting style. It gets us through those tough points. It got us through that tough point to open the store, and be working 20-hour days and still not seeing the financial reward. So I would definitely, and that's why, we want to talk about that today.
So where would you say is the first place for us to start? If right now, those people who are listening, and let's pretend that you're sitting across the coffee table with them, and they're saying to you, Sydney, Jermaine, hey, listen, I don't know what my big why is. How do I find out what my big why is that's going to motivate me enough to follow through with this process? What would you say where would they start?
I would think one of the first things you need to do is really kind of assess what type of lifestyle you want to live, right? A lot of times your why is going to be tied to the life that you want to live. Like, do you want flexibility? Do you want a great big old house? Do you want to be impactful in your community? Do you want to be able to leave a legacy to your children? Like everyone has an image of what they, when you think about your dream life, like what that looks like, and really kind of pinpoint different points in that dream for yourself. So for us, you know, we have a child, we want to be able to leave a legacy to him. Maybe not necessarily the bakery. I don't know if that's what he wants to do, but we want to be able to give him a level of financial freedom that we didn't have so that he can do whatever it is that he wants to do. And that drives us. We know that in order to do that, there's like certain thresholds that we have to get to while we can, and that will drive us. We also love the flexibility that we can get from our lifestyle. I love to go on vacation. I like to be able to pick my son up from school. I like having flexibility. So when I have to work, I'm going to work extra hard because I want to be able to have the flexibility later on. And I know that, you know, being flexible doesn't mean that you always can just be away on vacation or do whatever you want to do. There has to be balance to it. And I'm willing to put in the hard work to get those points.
Yeah. And in that same conversation, I think quieting the noise and not getting clear on your why, that's not what your parents created for what you should have for your life, not what society tells you should have for your life, but what truly will bring you joy, right? So I think there has to be a little bit of silencing of the noise, some clarity of the mind and spirit. And when you truly find something that brings you joy, and you can connect to that why that's based on what you created from your personal point of view, that's what's going to give you that energy, that's going to push you through these tough points, that brings you to the real success that we're all looking for.
Love it, love it. And the fact that you guys were able to, here's what it tells me is that you understand what your values are, right? Which is, you know, family. I'm sure at some point, maybe if you guys have a belief statement or a mission statement, you just said it: family, legacy, flexibility, right? And you did this in New York. New York is a tough city.
Yes.
I mean, let me tell you, man, New York is merciless. You know, it's merciless. So to be able to create these things, it shows that you stuck to your big why, but also you had your core values in place. And how did you guys create this culture amongst the both of you of productivity, the culture of perseverance, the culture of, and this is kind of like specifically as a husband and wife team,
right? Because
doing it on your own is one thing, but doing it as a husband and wife, I take my hat off to you guys. You know, that's two different dynamics, brother. You know,
yeah, Sydney has fired me a few times. You know, so
yeah, right.
But you know what? It is a very unique. I think we are blessed that our values truly line up. We also have completely different but complementing skill sets, right? Mm-hmm. So this speaks for partnerships in general, right? Our partnership is business and marriage, but just partnerships in general. So knowing where you're weak and allowing someone with the skill set to fill in without stepping on their toes. We do a really good job at that. And I think that's one of our strengths as a husband and wife team and as business partners. We allow each other to thrive while also still challenging each other from what we need as well. So it is unique, though. I think, like I said, our values align, and we know that we're both doing what we do to get to that same point. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what really drives it. What would you say, Sydney?
No, I would agree with Jermaine. We have the same end goal. We have the same values, and the same things are important to us. So we know that no matter what's happening, we're working towards the same mission.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, to really kind of fight through it when it gets difficult, we made this the only plan, right? We didn't have a plan B. It was, this bakery is gonna work, and we're gonna make sure that it works. Yeah. Like, so we don't have like, all right, we'll just go back to corporate America if it doesn't work out. Like, that's not one of our options.
Right.
We're going this entrepreneurship route through the bakery, and even Jermaine is now into real estate as well. And that's the plan. That's just what we're gonna do. So we're gonna make it work.
Yeah. What I do want to talk about, Rob, where we do differ, right? So
Okay.
Sydney is, the Sydney of Sydney Sweets. She's a cake artist. This is her passion. And she loves being in this space, being able to create art because this is her skill. This is her, her talent. So, but for people who, we would hope that everyone in this group loves real estate. They have a passion for it. Like they wake up, eat, sleep, drink, real estate, right? But for those who don't, so I wouldn't say baking is my passion, right? But my purpose and my passion is people. My passion is being able to help people and solve problems, right? So how do I be able to inject my passion through my purpose into whatever I'm doing, right? And I know that I get to help people and solve problems inside of this bakery business. And so a lot of times we get caught up in, what am I doing? What am I doing? And that's not what I should be doing. But now we're taking our skill sets and we're taking our passion. We get to inject that into anything that we do. When you come from that mindset, I think you can allow yourself in any industry to perform and be happy. So that's one of the key things too. I think we're living in a culture where, it's you should be working in your purpose or your passion or whatever it is. But you get to inject the passion and your skill set in any type of job activity. And once you're clear on that and knowing that what you're doing is getting you closer to your purpose and your personal values and mission statement, that's when you can approach something, if it's not necessarily your passion, with a little bit more invigoration.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful statement, guys, because everybody right now, especially after COVID or even during COVID, they're like, listen, I just want to do what I'm passionate about.
Right.
And hell, even I'm in that boat, right? I listed sold real estate for many years, and that's not my primary source of income.
Right.
My source of income is coaching, because coaching is my passion. However, even at times I come to the realizations that, listen, sometimes doing a deal, $10,000 check, $15,000-$20,000 check. I mean, you can't argue with that. It's like listening, picking up the phone and making cold calls. That may not be my passion, but what I realized for myself, and I got sober during the whole COVID thing, is that it's a vehicle.
Right.
So real estate is the vehicle. There's tons of vehicles out there. You've got Hondas, Hyundais, you've got 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8, 12. And the thing is that sometimes I think we lose sight of the fact that we got to get into the vehicle and start driving first if we want to get somewhere, but we're busy complaining about the type of vehicle that it is. It's like the first car for your child. It's like, oh, come on, mom and dad. Why'd you have to give me the used station wagon?
That's it. And there's no denying the potential in this vehicle of real estate. So, it's unlimited. The potential is unlimited. You are in control of your own destiny and your financial, trajectory. So this is not will this vehicle work? We know this vehicle works, even in the restaurant industry, I am using our cash flow to, get into real estate and do real estate deals, from a equity perspective, not necessarily from, buying and selling, though we know this real estate vehicle works, so whether you're, whatever role you're playing in the buying and selling, or if you're using it to build, legacy and income from, a cash flow perspective, real estate has so many avenues that we know are lucrative.
So tell me, what's your next project? I mean, because we have so many real estate agents here that are international. If you can have the best project for you to invest in, what would that look like for you guys? What would be the next thing? Because you never know. It may come right through this source.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm looking for a referral fee, any agents out there. But
but go ahead. So currently I've been building joint venture projects. So we're putting together deals in emerging markets right now. One of the markets I just closed on my second property on is Tulum, Mexico. So we're putting together joint ventures where we're inviting investors to participate. And we've been able to get some really great returns. We're doing right now 15 to 20% cash on cash returns through our deals, doing short-term rentals, and we've had some great success. And why I love the market and just being able to study the marketplace, Tulum, an airport is coming to Tulum by 2024. So the getting in now to that market before it explodes, it's already booming, but before it explodes, being New Yorkers, we know what that looks like. We've seen it happen to all the boroughs, and now almost everywhere, everyone's priced out, right? So I'm sure in real estate, timing is everything. So you guys know more than me. If you got some tips, tell me, please. But yeah, so we're in that market, and just understanding, being flexible. So the reason how we got into international was the US market was exploding. There were deals under $1 million were tough to get into without, being able to close on a day. There's so much competition. There's almost no meat on the bones. So being flexible, being open, using the same principles of US, timing and right market, we're using those in international markets, and just seeing a potential, but being flexible, same principles, being flexible and open to something working within the same structure, but maybe just in a different way.
Awesome. No, that's perfect, man. And I'm sure if anybody has any deals, man, they're going to send it your way. I just want to pause real quick for a moment, take a couple of questions from anybody. And those of you guys who are watching live right now from whether it's Facebook or whether it's LinkedIn, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat, and we're going to cut off the feed in the next couple of minutes. And those who are in VIP, if you want to be in VIP, hashtag VIP in the comments, and we will send you the link for you to register. As we always say, I'm doing the promotion, $7 for the first month, $47 afterwards, right? That's what we call the little cake, the little sample. It's like, if you want to see what powerful coaching is like so that you can grow your business, this is the opportunity to take advantage of it. But let's pause for a couple of questions to see if anybody has any questions, whether it's online or within Zoom right now, because we have an agent in here, Nicole Edwards. Her and her husband work together, and she made a comment in the chat, which was her husband fires her on a daily basis. he wouldn't have it. It says she wouldn't have it any other way, right? Because husband and wife team is so much stronger together, which I think is pretty powerful. I don't know if Nicole is still on. Nicole, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you.
I'm here. I don't have a question, but thanks for sharing me, because sometimes you forget that you need to have a together why and keep following that why, because we're a team and we have the same goal, and we just keep needing to remember we have to move forward and keep going. And I think it was also very powerful seeing how your business doesn't always happen in the first 2 years, and I'm now at the 18-month mark, and I'm like, oh, am I doing the right thing? And just to get reassurance that it's just keep doing what you're doing and you'll make it successful if you have the correct why.
Absolutely, Nicole, absolutely. I think especially if you're putting in the work, and we have to be honest with ourselves. So we can't just be in for not to say that this is your case, but we can't just be in for 18 months or 2 years and just didn't think it's going to happen over time. But if we've been consistent, we've done the work, we're working with coaches like Rob, and when they give directives, we're following those things. People who have proven success. If you're putting in the work, sometimes that success is right on the other side of the quit. Right on the other side, and you might not be able to see it. So I encourage you, if you're putting in the work, if you see the potential and the passion, stick with it, grind it out, and I wish success to you and your husband in the near future.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Anybody else, guys? Any other questions on Facebook? We got a couple people that'll be jumping on for VIP as well too. What questions do you guys have before we continue? Okay, nothing as of yet. So let's pivot a little bit in terms of the conversation, because just real quick, Sydney, how did this Food Network thing pop up? I mean, it's like, I mean, that for me is striking up my curiosity because
Yeah.
here's the thing. I know for me, the moment I started like opening up the floodgates, I'm on social media, I'm doing trainings every week. You know, I've got different training groups, I've got one-on-one coaching clients. I mean, the moment I started to expose myself out there in the world, opportunities started coming in, and it just like, it was like, wow, I never knew this is how this works. I mean, but I'm just curious about your path.
No,
How was life before,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and then during, and then now what's life looking like after now you've done the Food Network thing?
So I'll say the dialogue that you just started kind of sums up how this came about. It was the perfect example of where opportunity meets preparation, right? So we weren't,
Love that. Oh my
yeah,
God, I love that.
it was something that we've always said, like, oh yeah, we should do one of these shows. I should get on one of these shows, but we weren't necessarily looking for it. We put up great content on a consistent basis, and a casting agent saw our Instagram page and reached out. And when she reached out, it was really like a very short turnaround time. So we had to be ready to do it, like when they reached out to us.
Yep.
And we thought about it. We were like, wow, it's like really busy at the bakery. I don't know. And then at some point, Jermaine was just kind of like, nope, we're doing it. Whatever it takes, we're going to make it happen. And we did, right? So it was, we were prepared for it. So we went after it once the opportunity presented itself. Once the opportunity presented itself, we went after it. And then during that process, so filming a TV show happens really quickly, much quicker than it appears when you're watching it. And they called me and they said, well, we need you to come in at the end of the week. And I'm like, oh, I already have like a really full schedule with the bakery for the week. Like I need to be doing that. And we just had to kind of figure it out, like front load it. It was after filming. I was coming back to the bakery, like doing some work. And then Jermaine realized that during the competition, I was really stressed out the closer we got to the weekend, because that's our busiest time. And I'm like, well, I know I have all these cakes to do. Who's going to do them? Like, if I'm here filming this TV show. And then we just used the resources that we had. We had an intern who worked with us and learned a lot from us before COVID. She stopped working with us during COVID because COVID. But Jermaine reached out to her and explained the situation. And she said, hands down, whatever you guys need, I'll be there. And she came to our bakery and helped finish these cakes up so I could focus on this television show. And really, once he told me that that was taken care of and I didn't have to worry about the weekend, that's when I really started to show up on the show and really show my talent, show my skill. I started winning the competitions after that point. And then, you know, in the long run, I took home the whole thing. So really, it was about being prepared for that type of opportunity before the opportunity even presented itself. And as we always do, we figure out a way to make it happen and push through.
Right.
And then
Wow.
after the show, it's been busy. Like there's people that live in the neighborhood where our bakery is, and they hadn't heard about us until they saw us on that television show. So since then, our retail business has increased significantly, which is excellent. And the custom cakes which is our main businesses, they're still rolling in, you know, and keeping us very busy.
So would you say your business has grown 20, 30, 40, 50% more, or has it doubled? Has it tripled? Like just to kind of get an idea, since you guys went off air when you got podcasted.
I would say retail is definitely probably doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah, retail is doubled. We had a really strong custom cake business prior to, but definitely I think our retail doubled, if not more. So, you know, it's definitely put us in a different point. Now, our price point has changed, right? So, you know, and this is the thing, you know, and I'm sure you could relate. If you're doing, you know, maybe you need to do 50 deals at 100K to bring in, you know, the $2,000, you know, commission. But now we're able to have a higher price point for our work. and do less work and make, more money.
Right.
So we're no longer, we're building, again, this is for us about lifestyle, right? So my token for the life that I live, I say freedom, lifestyle, legacy, right? So when we make decisions on how we're going to run our business, and we've had plenty of opportunities to expand, open other locations, but freedom is important to us. We want the time. We don't want to be burnt out by our business. So we're constantly thinking, how can we be more efficient? How can we make more money by doing less? And by building this brand, every year we're able to charge more for our product by doing less or being more efficient, which moves the needle a little bit different in revenue, but it also creates more freedom and lifestyle, which is the core value for Sydney and I. So how can we get into bigger deals? How can I do less running around with less clients for the same amount of money? Or if I want more money, I can get that. But again, down to your value. So we're now building our business and moving, not how society says, scale, 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 more money, more money, more money. We want more freedom and more lifestyle. And we're able to create that by having a brand and being more efficient in the relationships that we have as well.
Yeah, and on top of that, before I cut off the feed, because I want everybody to listen to this, is if anybody that's listening to this and watching, listen to the words that Jermaine and Sydney are using, right? Go back and watch this video. I always tell everybody in my VIP, guys, take notes in the comments, right? It's the smartest thing you can do, because when you come back and watch this video, you can see the notes that you had from before. But you guys are using words that are very powerful, like, you're not about let's make money, you're about let's increase revenues, right? About how can we, as opposed to can we? Because oftentimes, listen, I'm a language guy, right? As an NLP trainer, oftentimes we build our own imprisonment through the language that we use. And the language that you guys are using is a language of freedom. I don't know if you realize that, but it's a language of freedom. It's a language of creation. It's a language of power, and it's a language of manifestation. So that makes you guys magicians, just so you know. That's what it is. You guys are creating magical results for your family and for yourselves. And that is powerful, because we don't realize that our words matter. Everything that comes out of our mouth, those words are things that our unconscious mind ends up manifesting later on. And I take my hat off to you guys. I'm super excited and super proud of what you've done.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to switch into VIP mode. So everybody that's on Zoom right now, if you are in VIP, you could just stay on. And if you are not in VIP, just step out of the call, because this is just for VIPs right now, that we're going to be able to spend some time with Jermaine and Sydney. And for everybody out there that's watching, thank you so much. Again, you could post your questions. And if somebody wanted to come and see you guys and get some, let's say, for example, some feedback from you, not feedback, but to buy some cakes from you, or to order, how do people reach out to you? How do they connect with you?
Got you. So the easiest way to connect with us is through our social media platforms. On Instagram, we are Sydney's_sweets. Our website is sydneyssweets.com. And if you just in a Google search window, Google Sydney Sweets, Sydney spelled like Sydney, Australia, will pop up.
Yeah. And so, and 2 S's in the middle. So Sydney's plural. So S on each end and 2 S's in the middle. Sydney's plural, sweets plural. So www.sydneyssweets.com.
Love it.
And then if anyone is in the New York area, we are open for retail Fridays and Saturdays from 12 to 6. And we are located in West Hempstead. And if you Google us, our address will pop up. We pop up in your GPS as well.
Yeah, and we're also, Rob, for your VIP clients, we do ship nationwide. We're going to offer 10% off. Give me 30 minutes to activate that once we get off the call. But Rob, if you want to drop the link to the website, we'll shoot it over for the cake. So we ship our cake jars, but we'll do a 10% off code Rob And well, I'll share it with you, Rob, and just ROB for the discount code, and we're all for 10% off for the rest of the week.
I love it, man. That's so generous of you guys. I mean, right now, that is such a great closing gift. I mean, we got a gentleman that's on right now, Leon. He's a serviceman, and he's all the way out in Washington,
Wow.
out there in Seattle, Washington area.
Yeah.
I made a mistake one time of forgetting that he was out there versus here in DC. And I was calling this brother up at like 5 a.m. or something. And you know what? He still loves me enough to jump on and be with us here today. So Leon, they ship to you too, man. They'll ship out.
How you doing? No, that's all right. I used to fly in McGuire all the time, and we jump on the trains and go on into the city.
Okay.
But my usual answer, and see, I got people all over the world calling me, so it's funny when I get people calling me at 5, 6 in the morning. Go, Leon, what are you doing? Oh, laying in bed waiting for you to call me. Like I do at 5 a.m. every week.
Right.
You laugh it off. It is what it is.
That's cool. That's cool. So we're gonna switch gears now. I already stopped the Facebook live feed. I'm gonna stop this recording, and then we're gonna start recording VIP in just a second.